Good evening and welcome to Slam the Gavel, the show that tells it all regarding family court, other court issues, as well as CPS. I am your host, Marianne Petrie. This episode of Slam the Gavel is sponsored by CPS Protect Consulting Services. A child protective services case is one of the most frightening experiences for any parent. Don't face it alone. Face it with confidence with Urgent Assist by CPS Protect. You can have access to former CPS investigators to make sure you preserve your rights and protect your family. If you're facing CPS involvement and aren't sure where to turn, their child welfare consultants can help you. Visit cpsprotect.com/subscribe and enter the coupon code Slam the Gavel for 10% off your first year of Urgent Assist. This is available in all 50 states. That's cpsprotect.com/subscribe to enter the coupon code Slam the Gavel for 10% off your first year of Urgent Assist. I have another announcement. Bradley's mother, Narcus Golan, passed away 5 months ago. He is autistic and needs structured routine therapies he receives for his autism 6 days a week. However, Italy entrusted Bradley to Italian Social Services. If he is ruled to go back, he will face the next 3 to 4 years in the Italian foster care system, where he can't speak or understand the language. He will be taken away from the only family he has ever known and loved. Please call Governor Hochul at 518-474-8390. That's Governor Hochul, New York State, 518-474-8390. And it wouldn't hurt to give the senator a call to please keep Bradley here safe in these United States. Hashtag keep Bradley safe. I have a return guest on. I have John Sullivan back on the podcast. He was last on season 4, episode 18, and prior episode 4, season 4, episode 2. John is from Holland, Michigan, with a story about CPS workers that have falsified court documents against him. However, the court system employees in Holland, Michigan have allowed this to happen. This has been a 2-year-long investigation against John's children's mother and numerous CPS agencies from other counties, which have ties in Michigan as well. John was never living with the mother, nor were they ever married. So all of a sudden, John has CPS at his door the day they took the kids away from their mother on May 20th of 2022. This was the first time ever knowing anything about the whole investigation about the children's mother. And the CPS workers tell John that his children were homeless and living in the streets with their mother. John was never contacted throughout any of this. When they showed up May 20th, 2022, saying they took the children and placed them into 2 foster care homes, when they really technically should have gone back to their father. But of course, the right thing is never done. And I welcome you back to Slam the Gavel podcast, John Sullivan. Thank you for coming on. And where's your case now?
It's still the same way, it's just that my kids are still, they're separated. I think one of my children is in the Bethelese Christian Services, and my other kids are with their family, but I don't even know who that family is.
So they're like with a foster care family.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. 2 of my kids are with a foster care family, and one of my kids is in a foster care facility because they said they couldn't find a accommodatable living situation to keep them all together, I guess.
That's terrible. I'm very sorry that is happening.
Yeah.
Do you know? Go ahead.
Well, I was gonna say, and it's just strange because the same building that I was trying to get answers from when I started questioning these people is the same building that's just been all over the news for being transparency towards people of color in this community. The Ottawa County DHS office has just come under fire. Judges have sanctioned this court system down here due to the fact that lawyers and people that are working in the DHS office here have been falsifying court records for the people that work in the DHS office. And the Ottawa County Board of Commissioners that represents the DHS office are all fighting against one another due to, I guess, board members coming out talking about racialness and transparency because their slogan for the DHS office here was from a far rights group slogan. That's what their slogan represents for this building. This building is funded by a group here, a far rights group here in Ottawa County called Ottawa Impact. They
Ot-
call all Ottawa Impact.
Ottawa Impact.
Yeah. So it's like basically they're calling all the shots and providing all the funding for these people. And when certain board members spoke up about corruption and not being able to do their jobs correctly within the community,
Mm.
these people have lawsuits against their own people that they work with. They got so much news coverage about this situation. And it's like when I spoke up about how corrupt that this all happened to me, and I reached out to news channels and everyone, and it's like I couldn't get no help. So it just made me feel like, what's so different from these people when they spoke up about corruption from when I spoke up about it? So I'm still in the same boat as I was from the first podcast that I did with
Well, this is interesting news that all this exposure has come out with this Ottawa City Board of Commissioners.
you. Yeah, a judge sanctioned the courts here because they found that a lawyer representing the board of commissioners was lying in courts and filing falsified documents. And these are supposed to be the people that's working with the community and the public and people like me who come to that building that's supposed to need help or get help when they ask for it. But when the news comes out about you being transparency towards people of color here, it makes me wonder, like, how am I supposed to really get help when that's all over the news? And I've tried at this same building that's all over the news for being transparency towards people of color in Ottawa County, Holland, Michigan. And I just feel like that's not right. You know, how can a certain group speak up about this, and then when someone else speaks up about it, it's just overlooked? That's just puzzling to me.
Yeah, have you contacted anyone on the Board of Commissioners?
Yeah, the it's the lady who blew this thing wide open. She was a part. They were a part of this Ottawa Impact group, and they removed themselves due to the fact of the things that they were finding out what that group really represents. They're not in the good graces for the people. They're only in the good graces for their people, not all people of the community, only their people. And this lady who was with these people, her name is Adeline Hambley. She spoke up about the transparency towards people of color and her being demoted from a position that she was well equipped of having. And when she started to speak up about the things that this Ottawa Impact Group was forcibly putting on these board of commissioners and what they were representing, that's when all this stuff broke about, news coverage about what's going on here in Holland, Michigan, Ottawa County, Department of Health and Human Services building. Board of Commissioners are clashing with one another due to transparency issues. I mean, they had people in the community that I guess that are far rights members that supports these Ottawa Impact come to the commissioners' meetings and speak. horribly. And it's just crazy, because I ask these people for help.
Mhm.
I ask everybody. I ask my governor. I asked the director, Elizabeth Herschel. I sent all these people emails explaining my situation. I never received the email back.
How do you spell Elizabeth Herzl's last name?
I think it's Hertl.
And she didn't respond at all to your letter?
I never got a response back from her at all. I think I sent her like 2 emails, and I haven't heard nothing back from her. And like I said, I sent the governor emails, and I got one of those
Mhm.
computer animated emails that they always send back out to anybody who responds to them. So I got that stating that there was nothing that we can do, and if anything, you need to seek an attorney to help with your situation. And then the attorney general here, Dana Nessel, all of a sudden, when this happens in Ottawa County about this corruption, she's here investigating this like immediately. But I send her multiple emails, and she tells me that there's nothing that her office can do. We can't investigate anything, or we can't do anything. And if you need any kind of help like that, we will refer you to the Michigan Bar Association, or you will need to seek a private attorney to help with your. So it just shows me that, I've been saying this all the time. Only the right skin color wins. And I hate to say that, and I hate to, you know, but that's basically what I'm seeing.
Mhm.
That's what I'm seeing here. Because if I spoke up about, I've even went to the Department of Health and Human Services building, and I put in an envelope a paragraph page letter of my situation, wrote up, addressed to Adeline Hambley and to my caseworker from that building. And I also stuffed like maybe 50 just open pages in the outbox.
Mhm.
I still haven't heard anything, and I did that like maybe three weeks ago. I haven't heard anything from my caseworker, like with a concern response back from receiving that letter. I haven't even heard anything back from that lady, Adeline Hambley, but I wouldn't even put it past that with that lady being on the news and they seeing a envelope for her, somebody probably could have tore those envelopes up and just, threw it away. So I wouldn't put, if I couldn't put it in nobody's hand, then I don't even know if it really even got to them. But I know what I've been doing. I've been sending out letters. I stuck paragraph pages on people's mailboxes, tape them to the mailboxes around here.
Mhm.
Nothing. I thought the community would call the news, like all these pages just taped everywhere. I was sticking these up on storefronts when you walk into them, and people don't care.
No. I was thinking even though you sent these letters, even if you sent them certified where they would have to sign for them, they could sign for it and then just throw it in the trash.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So it just shows me when I seen all that come about, how these people were representing racial things behind closed doors, and this lady exposed all that, and now they're all in cahoots and clashing with one another and fighting against one another because of things, because, well, obviously, these people got tired of what they thought that you guys are supposed to be representing. Just like that's what they said. They thought you were supposed to be representing the community, but you guys are only representing for the people that you fund and back. You
Mhm.
only have those people back. None of those people are here for the best interests of the people of the community, and that's all been exposed throughout these news, clippings that they've been having about Ottawa County.
Mhm.
But it's funny that they quietly don't talk about it for a while. It's like it goes away,
Mhm.
then it comes back up. So it's just crazy. It's like I lost all hope of ever trying to go to any courthouse to ask for any paperwork because if y'all being transparency towards people of color, I'm not gonna get no help even if I did come there, ask for these papers, sign them, return them back. And you know who my name is because I've been study talking about this ever since it happened. So I don't feel like my paperwork would even make it through. If the courts are being corrupt, then who is the public supposed to trust in?
Huh. That's a good point.
If the courts are being corrupt and it's being put on the news that they are, who how can I trust the court systems or any kind of place where you're supposed to feel like you can go get justice from? I can't trust that. I can't trust that. I'm a black man living in a community where they're being transparency towards blacks and Mexicans. And it's a big Mexican community here. It's a big Hispanic community. It's a larger Hispanic community here than it is a white community or a black community. So, I just don't understand. What makes you want to be transparency towards, blacks and Hispanics when it's white folks here, it's Asians here, it's all kinds of people here in Holland, Michigan. Well, why only have a group that you only fund and help the people that's working with just your group? And if you're not a part of that group, then we're going to do everything in our power to make your life a living hell. That's not right. That
Mm-mm.
ain't, that's not right. And
And
go ahead, go ahead. I'm
oh, I
sorry.
was gonna say, you've been through so much already, and, uh, this, Ottawa, far right's funding issue,
Oh yeah.
uh,
It's all over this. I mean, you can Google this. I never knew about this group. And then, like I said, the slogan for our Department of Health and Human Services building here in Ottawa County, since that building has been standing, has been a slogan from a racist far right group. Where you belong has been the slogan for years at that building. Now, since that lady spoke out about racism and transparency there, now they're talking about we're going to change the slogan of our building to let freedom ring. How are you going to take a Dr. Martin Luther King quote and then you're being racist towards black folks and people of color? Talking about how you letting freedom ring. When I spoke up about this in the beginning about corruption, that's not letting freedom ring.
no, it's not. And,
So
the disgrace that they would use Martin Luther King's,
yeah, and they proudly did this over the news, stating that we're going to change this to let freedom ring. How could you be proud to even say something like that when all this just blew up about you guys being transparency to people of color and Ottawa Impact only helping those who are only working with their organization. And if you're not working with their organization, they're coming at you.
mhm, mhm,
That's not cool. So that lets me know that there's a group of just rich people
mhm.
that's funding the DHS office here, backing that building with funds out of their pockets. And if somebody doesn't do what they say do, then it's going to be hell to pay. That I wouldn't want to live like that. And I'm kind of glad that that lady, Adeline Hambley, spoke up and said something about that because nobody in this town or community would have never knew.
No.
And they had secret chat groups set up to where they were talking about things.
Mhm.
Yeah, all this was in the news. Secret chat groups talking about hateful things towards people of color around here. And only those people can get in on those chat groups. So how can you trust the court system? How
Uh-uh.
can you trust the township? How can you trust the county that you live in when you seeing all this stuff happen? It's like you got to walk on eggshells, hoping to never have a run-in with these people.
Oh, I can't imagine. I guess, the way I was grown up, we were raised to treat everyone the same. At
Right,
least I was raised to treat
everybody.
everyone the same, and we're still in this backwards mentality of racism.
Right. God created everybody equal. It don't matter what color you are. He created all of us. So, I mean, for these people to feel like they're better than the next, or because they got a certain amount of money or businesses and they control this and they got to say so of that, it you supposed to be the people that's supposed to be in the good graces for the community, anything positive for the community. But now we see that that's not what y'all doing. Y'all only being positive for the people that's working with y'all, not the whole community.
Mhm.
And that's sad and that's scary at the same time
Right.
because I could just imagine how many other families and people have went through the court systems around here, and these people could just probably wrote up anything just to put people away. It's just crazy.
Mhm.
It's just crazy. That's all over all over the world. I could just imagine how court systems are being corrupt, putting people away for no reasons,
Uh-huh.
putting charges on people for no reason. And then when people speak up, the favorite line is oh, they have a mental issue or they're being angry. I hate that. I hate that. I have PTSD. I have anxiety. I have depression. I have all that. But you cannot use that against me. We all have common sense.
Right.
Even though people have all these type of things going on, you still were born with common sense in this world. You still know what's right and what's wrong and what's wrong. But I see the world is being built off of just being wrong right now. And that's sad. That is sad.
Well, but who wouldn't?
That's sad.
Mm,
That's sad. Because if you do something wrong, if I was to go do something wrong right now, police would be all over me just like that.
mhm.
So how can you show us that you're allowing people who's supposed to be protecting the community and helping the community, if they're doing things wrong and ain't none of these people going to jail? They're allowed to just sit back and chill, go home, hug the wife, hug the husband, play
Uh-huh.
with their kids, be with their families, and they doing all these things behind closed doors. And it's sad to say that I feel like people are just okay with it around. They okay with it.
Now this judge that sanctioned the courts because this attorney was filing, falsified court documents,
Hmm.
what is his name?
I don't know right off her hand, but like all the news clippings about what was going on with that is gonna have all the people's names in there. Everybody, all the board of commissioners, the lawyer who was representing them, the judge who sanctioned Ottawa County courts and the DHS office and everything. So, but yeah, I don't know the names right offhand, but I just remember that lady's name, Adeline Hampton, because it's like they just came after her like with everything they got, and and they're still coming after her, and they're shooting things down because of what these people are trying to do to her, because she has a lawsuit against these people now.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah, she has a lawsuit, and the Ottawa Impact Group that was funding that she was a part of, that she's no longer a part of now. Now they're trying to get their attorneys and lawyers to do things to get that lawsuit out of the way, but the judge is shooting things down from their side and keeping her side on the up. So that's a good thing for her. But like, it just goes back to like when I spoke up about, you know, corruption and how this all happened and called the news stations and talk to people, and they telling me, well, you're gonna have to, talk on camera and explain. That's no problem. I'm talking on here explaining my situation for the third time. And it seems like, the only person that gives leeway is being on your podcast, Marianne, because I can't get no news to come talk to me. I can't get no help from my own county that I live in. I can't get no help from nowhere. So,
Jeez,
and the only thing that I keep hearing people say is, I need to I need to do what CPS wants me to do. I'm not going to do that because I'm not in trouble with CPS. I would do everything in God's graces if I were in trouble with CPS and I know I did a horrible thing and put me and my kids in that situation. So,
Mhm.
yes, then I'm going to do everything to show these people. But for me to just do something and I know I don't have to do that, that you're not going to force me to do anything or make me look like a bad person because I haven't came to this, or I won't do this, or that's all a false narrative. And you can keep writing that up. Long as I know who I am and what I've been doing, they can write whatever they want to do because none of that means nothing to me. When I've been seeing on the news how corrupt your building is, how corrupt the courts are around here, and you want to push blame off on little old me. No, we need to talk about what you guys are doing in that building and in the court systems and to the people of this community. That's what we need to talk about. But nobody wants to talk about that.
Oh, yeah,
Um,
it's just, yeah, I just don't know. I see here, judge's temporary order blocks Ottawa impact from firing health officer Hambly.
yep.
Um, it says here, written by Sarah Leach of the Holland Sentinel, a judge has granted Ottawa's county health officer a temporary restraining order, temporarily preventing the Ottawa Impact County Commissioners from removing her from her position.
Yep.
On Thursday, March 2nd, Adeline Hambley, Hambley, was granted the temporary restraining order, or TRO, from Muskegon Circuit County Judge Jenny McNeil,
Mm-hmm.
McNeill, who is presiding over the lawsuit Hambley filed in February against 7 of the 8 Ottawa Impact commissioners who now control the county's 11-member board. Oh
Yep.
my goodness.
Yep. So that's what's going on here.
And yet, they won't listen to the people, especially you coming forward with this case. And correct me if I'm wrong, are they still making you pay child support on this?
Yeah, I'm still paying child support. I'm still paying child support.
And none of this should be happening because those kids should have been placed with you a long time ago.
Yeah, I know, but it's like I say, it's like people want me to bow down to them, and I'm not gonna do that. People trying to say, well, I wouldn't let my kids just be in that situation. I'm not letting my kids do anything. I'm standing up for what's right. And if they do want to ask me, well, I can be able to show them these podcasts. I can show them all my paperwork. I can show them everything that I've been doing because I'm not gonna fall victim to the game. It's all a game to CPS. They
Mhm.
don't care about me. They don't care about helping me get my kids back. Once they take your kids, they don't care.
No.
They don't care. But they get to go home and hug their kids and act like civilized civilians in the community. That's wrong.
Mhm.
That's wrong.
Yeah,
That's wrong.
I always felt that what you just said is what I always felt after leaving the courthouse. They get to go home and kiss and love on their families, and I don't get to go home to a family.
Right. You
It's
you you walk out of the courtroom feeling like shit without your family, without your kids, without no hope, and it's just seeing all these things that just happened to you. And these people get to walk away and go continue to go take more kids and file more falsified cases on people and do whatever they want to do without nobody checking in on this stuff correctly. All these people that were supposed to come and check in on when I was making all these complaints, they did that, but they didn't do it the right way, I feel, because they all
No.
sided with CPS every time, or trying to tell me that you should just do what CPS wants you to do. You should, for first of all, that is embarrassing to be in public in front of people, seeing your children, and they're with these people, and then you have people looking at you like, oh, what did this person do? Not knowing the situation, but people just look at things like that and they gather up their own realization of what's going on there. I don't want to be in all these places like this, being seen like this, and then people start, saying hurtful things, not knowing what's going on. And then
Mhm.
that's gonna make me angry
Right.
because you don't know what's going on. But I don't want to be in that situation because that's not cool.
Mm-mm.
That's not cool for nobody to have to deal with two ladies or a lady and a man
Mm-mm.
working with the state coming to bring your kids maybe to a restaurant or a park or just somewhere in the public's eyes,
Mhm.
like they making you, oh, like look what this person did. They're a bad person. Like, no, that's not cool. That's not cool, man. That's not cool. And to try and force me to do those things, that's not cool at all. And
No.
that's why I haven't did any of those things. That's why I haven't did any of those things. And I'm not going to do none of those things because I was never in trouble. I should have
Right.
never been treated like this. This is not how CPS is supposed to handle things when they do take a kid and it's another parent. Like I say, if you didn't know where I was at or know who I was, how were you able to show up on my doorstep when you took my kids from the mother? How
Mhm.
were you able to find me then? That's the funny part.
Mhm.
Nobody knew who I was and nobody could find me. But you just took the kids on 5/19 of 2022, and here you are at my door on 5/20, 2022. First time we ever meeting. That was suspicious to me, but
And
like I said,
if they were gonna be at your door, they should have said, "Hey, just to let you know, we are returning children to you
right.
because of this." That's what they should have been doing the right thing, but
Right. They took the kids at 3 o'clock in the morning. They put them with a family that's never been in their lives. But you couldn't do that to me.
mm,
I just don't get it. You take them at 3 o'clock in the morning and put them with a family that they've never met in their life. Left them there with this family.
oh,
That I don't understand that. How was that okay? You could have came to my house at 3 o'clock in the morning, knocked on the door, and they would have been just fine from that day on out.
right.
But they want you to jump through hoops and hurdles and trying to impress them about how you're going to raise your kids. That's
And they're
wrong.
and they're gonna force you to pay child support to kick in for the Title 4D incentive.
Yes, it's just crazy.
It's kids for cash. They essentially trafficked your children to foster care. I mean, this is a whole big mess of human trafficking because not only did your children become human trafficked into these
Hmm.
foster homes, they're also trafficking parents like you that are being forced to pay child support when none of this should have happened to begin with.
Hmm.
And I think that could be called legal or financial human trafficking.
Hmm. Hmm.
And I went back to that story that was written, and I was quoting. It said Hambly sued the 7 commissioners who belong to the far-right group Ottawa Impact on February 10th, claiming
Yep.
they repeatedly have interfered with her ability to do her job and have overreached their authority by attempting to limit her state-authorized health duties.
Hmm.
And from dictating to her that Ottawa County will not issue any health orders that overstep parental rights. Isn't that odd? Overstep parental rights to erroneously claim the county's health department sponsored Grand Valley State University's recent Sex Ed Week to claims of promoting radicalized sexual content to refusing to approve federal grant-funded mental health positions.
Yeah,
The OI commissioners have been laser focused on the health department since tasking office at the beginning of the year. Boy, all this happened fast this year.
yeah, yeah. And it's still going on. Still going on. It's a lot of people, a lot of people from that far right group and their supporters here that are upset about what that lady did. So it's just it just shows you that when you thought something wasn't in your town or in your community, it's just like somebody pushed that right button. It will expose itself just like it did here.
Right. If Adelaide Hambley did not speak up, we would not know anything about this. And even though she spoke up, will this corruption continues? Because as I read along here, it says most recently, Hambley on February 21st appeared before the board urging them to approve an agreement for the Community Health Needs Assessment, a collaborative effort by the health department, local hospitals, and several other entities to identify and define local health issues, concerns, and needs. It is a statutory requirement for nonprofit hospitals and helps the health department identify and address needs. But they're not doing that. And another thing here, it says the memorandum of understanding outlining commitments by various organizations was approved in a committee meeting, but held up on full board approval by Vice Chair Sylvia Rodia, a co-founder of Ottawa Impact.
Yeah.
Who said she wanted to review the questions used in the survey. Hambley told commissioners the survey isn't theirs to approve. And that's someone standing up for what parent, how did they say that? Parent rights or whatever.
Parental rights.
So they're walking all over her and parents like you.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
See, and okay, it's quoted here in this article. Providers who are informed are better able to provide care that is relevant, specific, and compassionate, Hambley said. It's data that our hospital partners need. This is a long article, but it's worth reading.
Oh yeah, it's a lot. It's a few of them. It's a few of them. It's probably gonna blow your mind when you read them, like, cause blew my mind when it came out on the news about all this going down at the same building that did this to me, where these people work at. These CPS workers come from that building, so that just lets me know that it's not just the courtrooms; it's doctors, physicians. They're all in on this. They're all in on it.
Yeah, I've heard other parents say that. Parents have said, don't take your kids to a pediatrician because they're linked in with CPS. Take them
Yeah.
to a family, your family doctor, which I always did with my kids. I took them to the same doctor I saw. I didn't take them to a pediatrician.
Yeah, because they're all in with this too. They're if they need to call doctors or physicians or any of those people, they have to come to court to speak on anything that's got to do with somebody. So, and if they friends with somebody, and if that Ottawa Impact group is washing somebody's hand with a little bit of cash, then that's all it takes. Put a little money in somebody's pocket, and oh, we got them. We got them. They'll do whatever we want them to do.
And going back to what you were saying, Michigan Attorney General Dana Nessel,
Yeah.
who announces findings in public integrity cases from her office, and this was January 4th,
Mhm.
Nestle's office announced it was reviewing the board's first meeting for numerous potential violations of the state's Open Meetings Act on February 16th. Nestle said, despite the conduct of the Ottawa Impact Commissioners being a, in quotes, blatant violation of the public's trust and the tenets of government transparency, it
Yep.
didn't technically violate state law. I don't know why. It didn't technically violate state law. Hambly says the demotion of interim health officer was a constructive termination and that an actual termination is looming. This is terrible.
Yeah. And that's why I go back to saying, you see, the attorney general made that be her business. But when I sent you an email about the same department, same building, you don't want to make that. You told me to maybe you should seek a private attorney. There's nothing that my office can do for you. How so? When this happened here in Ottawa County, you jump all over this. You want to investigate that. You know, you should investigate anything when somebody says there's corruption going on, especially when it's people that's working for the state or the government. You should investigate that thoroughly, not just give it a lightly investigation. Or because I feel like maybe all these people are part of that Ottawa impact. Maybe it's maybe it's a bigger corruption here that a lot of us don't know about.
Right.
So
Maybe this is the tip of the iceberg.
I just don't trust, you know, I don't trust this county no more, period. Like, I don't, how can you be happy to be in the county when you seeing stuff like this? So
Yeah, exactly. And how much are they forcing you or extorting out of you for child support?
it's the same. It's basically the same thing. They just take half of my disability check. So that's how child support goes. It don't matter if you have one kid, 10 kids. If you're on child support, they take half of whatever you make and they leave you with the remainder. So that's about close to $500 every month.
I'm so sorry that they
But
put
that's
you.
like, you know, just child support. I mean, I don't mind it, but you know, when I'm speaking up about if my kids were, you know, not being taken care of by their mother, then why can't I raise my kids? What make this foster care facility, these people that you gave my kids to, or any of y'all, what makes y'all better or think that I can't raise my kids or I have to impress y'all or explain how I'm gonna raise my I'm not in nobody's personal life, so why are you in mine? I can't
Mhm.
control nobody's personal life, and that's what I've been told that I should have been controlling my kid's mother's life. I
Oh,
was t- yeah, I was tired of hearing this. I should have been in control of what she was doing. Like I can't control her to
mhm.
say, hey, don't go lay down with this guy and make this newborn that you just had. I can't say, you know, I can't say, hey, don't go do this, or don't go, you know, I can't nobody can control nobody, you know?
Right.
It's like I don't understand that. Telling me that I should have been trying to control what she was doing with her life. I don't know where they thought that was gonna work from. If that was the case, then somebody should have been controlling all this stuff that's happening in these court systems all over the United States.
Mhm.
Somebody should be controlling when somebody say that these people are doing a legal thing. Somebody should be controlling that, seeing what's the issue with that. But
Right.
no, that just lets me know, like finding out that Ottawa Impact is funding them. So uh, that must be how every state has a secret group that's funding a state, a federal building, a state government building. I've never understood nothing like that. How can you have people of a community funding a government building? That doesn't make sense to me. So you mean to tell me it's just a whole bunch of rich people
Mhm.
that don't like people, and because they got all this money, they're gonna fund this building, and whatever they say that they want to go in that building is how things should be done instead of doing it with integrity and honor like you're supposed to do. But they don't care. They don't care.
Well, it's just because a parent is on disability doesn't mean they can't raise children. I hear this
Oh,
all the time, just because a parent is on disability or poor doesn't mean they can't raise their own children.
right. And
And
that's what they told me. They said just because you're disabled and only receive one check a month, you can't take care of your kids.
oh,
So, and that's what they told me in the courtroom on July 19th of 2022.
yeah, this is, unacceptable,
Yeah, because if I feel like if none of this never had nothing to do with me, then why do I have so much court paperwork that it looked like I just got out of federal prison?
right.
If none of this had anything to do with me, then why did y'all send the police to my house 11 times, including on Father's Day of last year? If none of this had anything to do with me, why were y'all coming at me like that, period? Threatening me, telling me if I didn't come to court, I'm gonna be locked up. How? How can I get locked up when I did nothing wrong? So you mean to tell me that the justice system is not a justice system? It's just a whatever you want to do system. So they need to rechange that.
Mhm.
How you gonna say this is the justice system when it's not a justice system? It's a whatever you want to do system.
Yeah, they
So
don't follow the law. I it's just very scary.
see, they don't follow the law, but they expect every person in America to follow the law. That's that's mind blowing to me. That's mind blowing to me.
Mhm.
How can these people who wear badges, swore under oaths, all this not follow the law as we see? Like we all don't have TVs and watch the news. But how can they not follow the law? But you expect every civilian in America to follow the law to the T. And if you don't, we have a place to put you in. What about these people? You don't have places to put them in? I'm pretty sure there's slots and prisons or in jails that's waiting on them to be filled up. Why you can't put them in a slot?
Yes, and it's been well known in the past that CPS has targeted, poverty-stricken parents,
Mm-hmm.
African Americans,
Mm-hmm.
and of course, you mentioned Mexicans,
Yeah.
um, and
That's what's
people on
going on
disability.
in the world. That's what's going on. It's like you got a big target on your back and you don't know it. And even if you didn't want that target on the back, just because we have the power to do so, we still gonna put a target on your back. So it's a no-win situation. Even when you speak up and try and get help, it's a no-win situation. Cause like I said, I've sent out so many emails. My Gmail is so full of things that I sent out and things that I got returned that was no help from nobody. So I just thought I'm done asking for help since I can't get no help. So there's no reason to keep asking for help when
Mhm.
I see the way things are going. I just come to the fact that I'm not gonna get no help. That's where I'm at right now. I'm not gonna get no help. I'm not gonna get no help. I'm not trying to go in no courtroom where I was just treated like I was not shit in this world.
Mhm.
I'm not going to do that. I am a black person. Soon as I start probably getting loud because of the way I talk, that's gonna be an issue, which it always is. Anytime I talk, I don't understand how people always say I'm sounding like I'm yelling at them or because I'm talking just like this. I'm not yelling at you. I'm just speaking. I don't know how I'm supposed to talk. It's like I'm being told how to talk. I'm being told how to say things. I'm being told, well, you can't talk like this. You have to talk like this to people, and oh, don't do this. And I don't talk like that. I don't talk like that. First of all, I'm not a woman with a soft voice. I am a man. Okay,
Right,
I am a
and
man.
you still have a soft voice, and the thing is,
Right,
I'm the same way if I'm yelling at someone or, I'm talking to you like this. I'm not screaming my
yeah,
head off.
then you can't fault people for getting angry about things when they're not woke or asleep to a situation that you're trying to put them in. I'm not asleep to the situation. You're not just gonna do me any type of way. I got good common sense. I got two great parents that taught me good common sense, so
Mm,
I'm not stupid by a long shot. My father was a military man, so I
mhm,
learned a lot from him. So I'm not stupid by a long shot if these people thinking that. But I guess that's how they think of all of us, all over the world, all over the United States, and everywhere else that there's CPS and courtrooms. It's just sad that these people who work in these places, even the people when you walk in the courtroom that sit at the windows, they treat you like shit.
mhm,
They always have an attitude. They always feel like they're better than you
mhm.
because they feel like, well, these people are walking in here to get help from us. So they must have did something bad. Just because somebody walks through a courtroom door doesn't mean they're a criminal. And
Oh,
that's the label. That's the label they put on people when you walk through any courtroom door. They look at you like you're a criminal. And them people that they got running those windows, they all have snotty attitudes. And
mhm.
then somebody get an attitude back with them. They want to, well, I have the police come out here. How you going to threaten people? Look at the way you treat people how you want to be treated. Respect go both ways. So that's what people need to think about,
Mhm.
you know?
People don't
But
realize this whole situation that you're going through and that I went through until it happens to them.
yeah, I
And
know.
you get these, inept, power-hungry CPS caseworkers, and once you put them on the stand I don't know if this happened to you, but, once they put her on the stand, she referred to me as the perpetrator. "The perpetrator said this, then the perpetrator said that." It's like, I have a name, and I'm not
Mhm.
guilty,
Right.
but they treat you like you're guilty, like you said. I don't know if they were calling you a perpetrator, but
No, they didn't even call me nothing. They was just they just did, like I go back to say, they just did whatever they wanted to do. Didn't matter what I had to say when nobody else had to say in the courtroom. They did what they wanted to do. They already had a game plan set up. They
mm,
already had everything set up. So it wasn't nothing that I could do or say that day that was going to override any of the game plan that they already had going on.
it was rigged.
It was already set to go.
And
So
that's another thing parents don't know. Everything's rigged in these they're not really even courtrooms, they're kangaroo courtrooms. Uh,
hmm
but, it's already decided. Your fate decided, your kid's fate is decided. And
yeah,
I'm so glad we have talked today because
yeah,
following your story, I hope, gets some type of attention.
yeah. I hope it's been like I say. It's been a year now. All this happened last year on 5/20/2022. Here it is.
And
Finna
that's
be,
right before well, I shouldn't say right before, but close to around Father's Day.
yeah. So,
I'm so sorry.
yeah. But I just feel like this case never had nothing to do with me. And why treat me like that? Why make me go through all that? Why send police over here? Why harass me? Why
Mhm,
make me come to court and all this? Because like I say, I've seen CPS investigations go on, and I ain't never seen nobody just get put on no case. All the things that were done is because those people were there and a part of that case, not just putting somebody in a case and they were never there. That's the scary part.
Mhm. Mhm.
That's the scary part. And just not with CPS, police officers, out here doing things
Mhm.
corrupt, pointing stuff on people, and it's just crazy, man. It's just crazy.
Well,
So,
the judge, McNeil, who sanctioned the courts for these falsified court documents,
mhm.
at least he's trying to fix this, but,
Yeah,
the
I was
courts of
I
justice.
was thinking about writing that judge a letter with that paragraph page that I sent to all those other people in. But it's like, man, I put all these out all around this community, man, and I thought, the community would, step up. They see strange things around here in Michigan. The news get called immediately, and they out. Somebody could make up something in their yard, and the news is out just for that.
Right.
You know, I put almost 200 pages just sticking them on people's mailboxes, and I guess everybody just either woke up, got them. I don't know if they read them, threw them away.
Mm.
No, they couldn't have blown them away because I taped them to the mailbox.
Right.
So that just lets me know this is not a community. This is just every man and woman for themselves. You do what you're supposed to do. I'll do what I'm supposed to do. We'll do what we're supposed to do. This ain't no community. I come from Chicago, Illinois. I know what a community is. Back when I was growing up, community stuck together.
Mhm.
I'm not seeing this around here. So I just see where it's at. I just see what I gotta do. And it's just hateful that I hate driving because I don't never want to get stopped by a police officer around here because I don't trust that neither. I'm not trying to be killed, over no false allegations by them. So
I
it,
understand.
it's
I
just scary, man. It's just scary. And then when you do speak up, and like I say, and these people get to knowing who you is, it's like, are they coming for you? Look at all this stuff that the Ottawa Impact they funding and got people under control. It's ain't no telling. And then they got supporters, all kinds of supporters, that believe in what they believe in. That's just scary. It's just crazy. It's
Yes.
just crazy.
Oh, well, I have to have you back on again to follow this.
Yeah,
Eh,
yeah.
now, if people need to reach you, and I will put this in the podcast notes, but how do you want people to reach you if they have any questions or need to contact you?
Through my email, lowercase js 113656 at gmail.com. You could just send me an email, let me know who you are, if you think you can help me. But like I say, I asked for a lot of help, and it seems like that's far from what people want to try and do for you. Everybody always got maybe an explanation or maybe something good, but in the long run, it's nothing. It's nothing. It's nothing.
Yeah.
It's nothing. So
I I'm so sorry. We'll keep going with these updates because we we need to enlighten and educate people. So,
yeah.
don't jump off, okay?
All
Slam
right.
Slam the Gavel is a podcast to help the public understand what really goes on in these family courtrooms. I am your host, Marianne Petrie, author of Dismantling Family Court Corruption, Why Taking the Kids Was Not Enough, and Cry Out for Justice, Poems of Truth. Please join us again here with John Sullivan in the future with other exciting guests as well. Thank you so much, John. Thank you.
Thank you.